Welcome to Adam's Athenaeum. Let's take a look together through the news and records of our times as we try to shed light upon the unvarnished truth. Thanks for coming back to listen to this episode where I wanted to bring to your attention a bill being put before the House Judiciary Committee which would restrict, if not ban, most all weapons. Let's begin going straight to the source. Yesterday, Chairman Jerry Nadler of the House Judiciary Committee put forth a bill, or rather announced the markup of the assault weapons ban of 2021. We're going to go ahead and go to nadler.house.gov. Again, get it straight from the source, straight from the guy who wrote it and has brought it before the House Judiciary Committee. On this page, it states, over the past several decades, our country has witnessed senseless killing after senseless kill, and each time, one fact has remained remarkably consistent. The weapon of choice for mass slaughter is a high-powered assault weapon, said Chairman Nadler. Now, I agree. That's what most people would assume would be the weapon of choice, would be a high-powered rifle. However, before recent statistics, I don't know, recent events have changed the statistics, but previously, handguns were used to commit more mass shootings than rifles. So I don't agree with him there. He continues to say, it is beyond frightening and disturbing that a weapon that was designed as a tool of war has found its way into the hands of 18-year-olds and onto our streets. Any weapon that allows for the quick and efficient slaughter of children in our schools has no place in our communities. This markup is another step in our efforts to make our communities safer, and I look forward to moving this legislation through the House Judiciary Committee next week and onto the House floor. I'd also have to disagree with him that he's referencing all what they describe as assault weapons, which they'll never give you a clear definition of what that means. They say that it is a tool of war, which is wrong. An AR-15 is technically, and it has different parts, different components. It has different operating functions than a military M16 or an M4. So it's not a weapon of war. It is a civilian version of a weapon of war. Let's get that part straight. The page continues. AR-15 style firearms have become the weapon of choice for shooters looking to kill as many people as possible, as quickly as possible, and have been used in the deadliest mass shootings in our history, from Sandy Hook to Parkland to Uvalde. Researchers estimate that if we still had a federal assault weapons ban, we would see 70% fewer mass shooting deaths. How many more kids need to die in their schools before we finally crack down on these dangerous firearms which were designed for war, said Congressman Cicilline. Protecting their lives and safety of Americans is not at odds with our Second Amendment rights. We cannot rest until we ensure that our kids and families are safe in schools, houses of worship, and everywhere in our communities. I thank Chairman Nadler for moving this legislation through the committee and hope all our colleagues will join us in voting to help save lives. So you see how they phrase this. They word and dance around what they're trying to say, and they use nice, pretty words to tell you that, hey, we want to take your guns because we don't believe that guns can stop bad people with guns. We just think guns are the problem. Well, ever since I've moved to where I'm at, I've had a couple of loaded weapons that I've left in the closet where they are at. And guess what? In a year, over a year now, neither one of them has gone off. They haven't had a bad day and gone out to commit a mass shooting. My weapons have stayed in the exact place that they are, in the exact condition I leave them, and they haven't moved, no matter the day, no matter the weather. no matter my mood. Because responsible gun owners do responsible things. Law-abiding gun owners follow the rules. Passing laws that restrict gun owners' rights to defend themselves is against the Second Amendment. I've made a video on the Second Amendment and what it actually means by breaking down key definitions of the wording in the Constitution. Please go ahead and check that video out after this. Now, the assault weapons ban of 2021 says it would make it unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, or transfer the following: all semi-automatic rifles that can accept a detachable magazine. So that's what, probably 90% of semi-automatic rifles right there. And have at least one of the following military features: a pistol grip. Again, this is just so you have a better grip on your rifle, so that way when it recoils, you can control the recoil better. This doesn't matter if you're target shooting, deer hunting, or protecting your life. Having good control of your weapon means less misses, which is better for the public. That's what we want, right? Gun safety, right? A forward grip. Again, something to help you stabilize your weapon so you don't miss. So that way, when the gun kicks back or when someone tries to grab your weapon, you have a firm grasp of your weapon. A folding, telescoping, or detachable stock. Again, generally speaking, the manufacturer's stock or the butt of the gun that goes against your shoulder, they're not comfy. They don't handle recoil well. And again, if you're going to be at the range for a long time, if you're going to be hunting like regularly and using your rifle regularly, you're going to want less recoil. So that way your shoulder's not bruised the next day, right? A grenade launcher, barrel shroud, or threaded barrel, which basically just allows for a suppressor, which again, if I'm defending my house, why would I not want a suppressor? If I have to wake up in the middle of the night, do I really want to wake up the whole neighborhood by going bang, bang, bang? Or do I want to alert my nearest neighbors, with a lighter bang, bang, bang? The danger is here. All semi-automatic rifles that have a fixed magazine with the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds. Bump fire stocks and any part, combination of parts, component, device, attachment, or accessory that is designed or functions to accelerate the rate of fire of a semi-automatic rifle, but not convert the semi-automatic rifle into a machine gun. It's dumb that they added that last sentence because machine guns are already illegal, aka automatic weapons, are illegal already. Unless you owned them before the stamp tax, which was 1989, 1986, somewhere in there. All semi-automatic pistols that have a detachable magazine, again, over 90% of them. And at least one of the following military features: threaded barrel for silencers, a second pistol grip for stabilization, barrel shroud, or the capacity to accept a detachable magazine at some location outside of the pistol grip, semi-automatic version of an automatic firearm. All semi-automatic shotguns that have at least one of the following: folding, telescoping, or detachable buttstock, which again, with shotguns, they've got a heck of a kick too, and you don't want that bruising up your shoulder. A pistol grip, again, to help stabilize your shots. A fixed magazine with the capacity to accept more than 5 rounds. Ability to accept a detachable magazine. Forward grip, grenade launcher, or a shotgun with a revolving cylinder. And high-capacity feeding devices, magazines, strips, and drums capable of accepting more than 10 rounds would all be banned. So, I may not be a lawyer or a legalese expert. However, this states pretty clearly that 98% of all weapons are going to be illegal. It will be unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, or transfer the following: any semi-automatic rifle with any military style accessory will be banned. The only thing you will be allowed to use is a single shot rifle, basically, a single shot shotgun, basically, or a revolver with 6 rounds. Now, isn't that what, what's his face? Alex, what's his face? Shot the producer. Yeah, whatever. Don't care about him anyway. So, you're going to leave us with revolvers. And yet this famous guy had a revolver and still managed to kill 2 people on a movie set. How does this make any sense? It doesn't make sense. This is almost an invitation for civil war. I'm not encouraging it. I'm saying if you look at the majority of America and those who own weapons, and if you haven't noticed, even the left, regular Democrats, they've been buying weapons, in mad numbers. Gun sales have been going up regularly. So you're going to tell me you're overnight, you want to try and turn millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans into criminals, convicts, because we own something that scares you? Well, what happens with this bill? Well, essentially, this bill is sponsored by Jerry Nadler and others, and it's going to be brought before the House Judiciary Committee, and it will be voted on. If the bill passes by a simple majority, which is 218 out of the 435 representatives, the bill will move to the Senate. Now, once it's in the Senate, it'll go to another vote. And if a simple majority of 51 out of 100 approve, then it passes. Now, this probably will not pass the Senate. It has a fair chance of passing the House. This is a dangerous precedent being set. And we'll get to why they're scared and why they're putting this bill in right now. No matter what they say to you, they're coming for your guns, and they will try to take them. And that is unconstitutional. Remember that. And they're going to hit you where it hurts. I'm sure many of you would like to imagine yourself resisting such tyranny, such unconstitutional law. Well, the government, they'll hit you where it hurts, man. They'll freeze your assets. That's right. They'll close your bank account, your credit cards. They can put liens on your house. And that's not all. They'll go after your children. Think about it. Do you really think, Child Protective Services or protective custody or whatever, do you really think they're going to leave dangerous firearms owners who won't abide with the law with their kids? They'll come for your kids too. Because eventually, if they take enough away from you, you'll break. You'll bend to their will. Where's your line? Well, Michael Moore, I'm sure many of you know this pathetic producer who makes, let's just call them conspiracy theory movies. He calls them documentaries. He's scared of guns, obviously. And he went ahead and proposed a amendment to the Second Amendment. He would like to call it the 28th Amendment. It's his proposal to repeal and replace the Second Amendment. Now, obviously, this means nothing. However, there's a few interesting relations between what he wrote and what's in this bill. So how much did the Democrats listen to this sham producer? In my opinion. Well, Section 1, he says, the inalienable right of free speech to be kept, the inalienable right of a free people to be kept safe from gun violence, and the fear thereof must not be infringed, and shall be protected by Congress and the states. This amendment thus repeals and replaces the Second Amendment. Wow. Wow. You're literally letting me know how scared you are of my gun that has done nothing other than sit in a closet for over a year and done nothing to you, done nothing illegal, opposed nobody, and offended nobody. I see how it is. I see what you stand for. You're a socialist. You're an authoritarian. You don't belong in this country. Section 2. Congress shall create a mandatory system of firearm registration and licensing for the following limited purposes: licensed hunters of game, licensed ranges for the sport of target shooting, and for the few who can demonstrate a special need for personal protection. And I don't know if you went to New York or lived in New York and tried to get a concealed carry permit, which was your constitutional right and state right. They were a, we'll see if we approve of your reason kind of a state. And essentially, being a little hyperbolic, but essentially, even if you had a target on your back with someone chasing you down the street, they still would not give you a gun permit. Even if you were completely legal, passed your background checks and everything. All who seek a firearm will undergo a strict vetting process with a thorough background check, including the written and confidential approval of, wait for it, family members, spouses, ex-spouses, and or partners and ex-partners, co-workers, and neighbors. A mental health check will also be required. There will be a waiting period of 1 month to complete the full background check. No. I will not have my rights, my God-given rights, withheld because my neighbor is scared of my guns, because my ex thinks that I might get angry sometimes. I might get sad sometimes. Who knows what I'm gonna do with my big scary firearms that sat in a closet for over a year. No, I will not comply. Section 3. Those who meet all the requirements for the restricted gun owners groups and successfully pass the background check must take a firearm safety class and pass a written result or a written test on an annual basis. No, I will not comply. I'm not going to give money to you, the state, when I've already done that. It's called hunter's education. You were taught about firearm safety, shooting, safety around people, around animals. No, I don't need to go pay $25, $50 to the state every year just to prove to you that I still remember the things that I learned when I was 16. Section 4. The minimum age for the restricted groups who can own a firearm is 25 years old. Renewal and review of the firearms license will occur on an annual basis. So you're telling me that the government has enough time every freaking year to go back and check every legal gun owner that they've registered and go through all of their background check information, mental health information again. Yeah, right. And what is this about being 25 years old? If you want to argue 21, maybe. Old enough to drink, old enough to shoot. However, I'm with the argument, if you're old enough to join the military and carry a gun, then you should be old enough to carry a gun, if you're a responsible individual. Section 5. Congress will stipulate and continually update the limited list of approved firearms for civilian use, including weapons in the future that are not yet invented. The following firearms are heretofore banned: all automatic and semi-automatic weapons and all devices which can enable a single-shot gun to fire automatically or semi-automatically. Any weapon that can hold more than 6 bullets or rounds at a time, or any magazine that holds more than 6 bullets. All guns made of plastic or any homemade equipment and machinery or a 3D printer that can make a gun or weapon that can take a human life. And this goes on and on. You know, he's got 2 more sections. I'm not going to waste your time with this guy. My simple answer to you is no. I will not comply with your scared, ideological bibble babble, nonsense jibber jabber. You don't have a right to trample my rights because you're scared, because you're offended. You don't have that right. I have, with my free speech, the right to offend you. Get over it. Get over your fear of me owning a gun. I haven't done anything to you. Now this brings me to the conclusion of this video and why I'm wearing this shirt today. It says, exercise your right to vote. I've said it a lot in my recent videos, and I'm going to keep saying it again. Look up who you're going to vote for. Don't just vote against Joe Biden. Don't just blindlessly vote R down the list. Some Republicans have voted for some gun control measures lately. I've basically shown you the Democrats and the Democratic followers what their agenda and what their goals are, what they want to do. They want to take all your guns. They say they want to basically just leave you with revolvers. You think they're going to stop with that? Again, what's his face? Alex, I don't even care. The dude that shot his producer and co-producer on a movie set. You can still kill several people. So no, I will not comply. You need to look up who you're voting for. If you care about the Second Amendment, look up who you're voting for and make sure that they care about and stand for the Second Amendment all the time. All the time. If they don't, if they voted against your rights, if they voted to take away your rights, if they voted for gun control or restrictions or anything else, and they're Republican, vote them out too. They don't deserve to be in Congress, the Senate, the House. They don't deserve to be mayors, governors, or sheriffs. Vote them out. We need to replace, in my opinion, everybody in Washington. Everybody who is in an electable position needs to be voted out. And heck, if Trump makes it back in, he needs to fire pretty much everyone else that's in Washington. We need to start over. Our government needs to be cleared of its corruption and its tyranny. We need people who are actually going to listen to and obey the Constitution and not put bills forward to the House Judiciary Committee that directly, what's the word I'm looking for? Directly interfere with the Constitution and your God-given rights. Don't allow it. Don't continue to vote these people in. Make your vote matter. God only knows what's going to happen with the elections this year, or in 2022 and 2024. So get out and vote. Doesn't matter how scared you are about elections being rigged. It doesn't matter if you're worried about your ballot being lost or stolen. Vote. Make all of your votes matter. Because if we get enough votes, enough true votes, real votes, it'll outshine any illegitimacies that happen. So exercise your right to vote. Exercise your right to free speech. Exercise your right to the Second Amendment peacefully. Support the Second Amendment. That's where I'll end this video. Just a quick reminder to everyone that I post videos at least once, if not twice a week. So please come back to my channel if you want to see more. Subscribing is always great. Trying to get a good channel going on here on YouTube. And then I'm going to try to branch out. I'm going to try to make a couple separate YouTube channels and eventually grow the channel to a point where it can be actually more of a journalism/news source for people. I'd like to hire people. We'll get there. We'll get there. Friends and family here, and we'll get there. I'll see you all next week. And again, thanks for coming.